I'm Allendale's chief meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update as we take a look at the latest surface map. It continues to show a nice little push of warm air, southwest flow coming out of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, coming across the western Corn Belt. Winds are likely going to be increasing in the eastern Corn Belt later this afternoon, tonight, and tomorrow as the warm air surges northward. Right now, no precipitation along the frontal boundary that's being analyzed from northern Michigan all the way up into northern Wisconsin and then back down through the plains. But there are plenty of low-pressure centers coming together along the front. We're looking at a little bit of a train effect as we go forward. We're going to have one low lift north over the upper Midwest, probably here tonight into tomorrow. Then another low coming out of the central southern plains up into the southern Corn Belt as we go into tomorrow night and then Friday. All of it will lead to some precipitation, 75% coverage over the Corn Belt in my estimation, with rain totals a quarter to 1.25 inches. Those numbers might be a little bit misrepresentative of what is going on. To me, I think we're going to be seeing some heavier thunderstorms fire off from the Boot Heel of Missouri across southern Illinois, southern Indiana, actually the southern half of Indiana into Ohio. Those will boost rain totals there. The rest of the Corn Belt, I actually like make that a quarter to half-inch rainfall totals and maybe stretching that to 3/4 in spots. So I guess this is not going to be a huge rain event, but it is going to be some rain. More impressive will be the drop in temperatures behind it, not so much because the air behind it is super cold. The air ahead of this front is very, very warm, 80 degrees in parts of Indiana, Illinois, Missouri. It's November the 4th. We're definitely blasting temperatures here. Thing is, we haven't quite set records yet out of this. It's just a nice warm air mass. We're going to be seeing temperatures pull back to near normal behind this as we go through the weekend. It will be a dry weekend. Strong high pressure is in play. That high pressure is key because as it moves off to the south and east, we expect a little bit of moisture to come up the backside of the high, coming out of the lower delta and then up into the southern part of the Corn Belt, southern Missouri, southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, places like that, looking at moisture from, we'll say, Tuesday midday, Tuesday afternoon on into early Wednesday. That may be a little bit of a distraction because we also have that big major storm coming out of the plains at midweek next week. The low still in the same basic position, moving from northeastern parts of Nebraska into northern, north-central parts of Iowa from Wednesday into early Thursday. One thing that we have seen is the low decrease in intensity a little bit. We thought this might happen with it being shown so strong so far out. Now, there's still plenty of time for it to wobble and go back the other way, of course, but for right now, not as intense. And so that means maybe we don't see as big of a threat of strong to severe weather ahead of it. I was concerned about thunderstorms along the cold front that sweeps through Missouri, Illinois, southern Wisconsin, Indiana, so on and so forth. I still think we have to be aware of a snow threat on the top and back side of the low because the cold air is there. The European model is showing this the most impressively. The European model does have a bit of a cold bias, but we'll just have to see how this comes together. Areas where I would be concerned about the snow would be South Dakota and northern Nebraska. That's about it, so I'm shrinking my area here a little bit. Up in the air yet, or up for some debate, would still be places like Wisconsin and Minnesota. I think they're going to be enough in the warm sector, or at least see warm air coming over the top of the system enough to keep precipitation liquid there, but we do want to watch this. That strong storm moves across the region as we go through Wednesday, Thursday of next week. By Thursday night, early Friday morning, it's over the New England area, and then cold front sweeping back down into the deep south. Strong high pressure comes in behind, should keep us dry. The extended forecast period shows a fairly significant push of cold air trying to dominate the eastern part of the country as we go from the 17th into the 18th. So we'll have to pay attention to this, see what it can do. Right now, the GFS model has this cold air diving all the way down into northern Florida, for example, as we go through Tuesday night, the 17th, into early the 18th. But then, interestingly enough, as that trough leaves, we see a return to almost an upper level ridge kind of pattern over the eastern part of the country as we head through the 20th into the 21st. That's the way things are stacking up. Internationally, no real significant changes. We've got the rain in Australia. It's being spun right now as being too much and being bad. We'll have to watch that. There is going to be heavy rain central parts of Australia's wheat belt and all into the eastern third to half as well. And then in the Black Sea region, we've got no rain. Until next week, 2 weak fronts move across Russia, Ukraine, former Soviet Union areas, maybe 0.3 to 0.8, 0.2 to 0.8 of an inch of moisture, not a lot, but some. and we're going to be seeing moisture again off and on through most of South America's key areas going forward. At this point, it doesn't look like it's a bad news story for me, but it is rain, and that's what they were looking for. That's the way things are stacking up. If you've got any questions on the weather, give us a call at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.